Hey everybody, it's Nathan here, and today we're going to be talking about the new Crossroads bracelet, and specifically about how to put it on, take it off, and resize it to fit your wrist perfectly. Now this has the same scratch-resistant hardening coating on the steel as the rest of the Crossroads watches, so your chances of scratching it up are pretty minimal. Don't go at it with a knife or anything, it's not scratch proof, but it should do a whole lot better than many other bracelets out there. If you're nervous about that kind of stuff, this bracelet should be fine to take to a local watchmaker or jeweler, and they'll be able to pretty easily put it on there or take it off if you need to, and resize it. All the tools you really need come in the box with the bracelet, so there shouldn't be too big of an issue there. But yeah, okay, let's get to it. All right, so your bracelet's gonna come in the mail like this. Nice little box. Take it out. Here's what you're gonna find. Is your bracelet. It'll have all the links attached already. It'll have a bunch of plastic on it. I've already taken all that off this one. This one's actually a prototype, so and this prototype did not have the hardening coating on it. So if you see a bunch of scratches on here, that's why. But yours should have the coating on it and should not have any sort of scratches or anything like that. So bracelet, you'll have a couple tools here, which work for other watches as well. This first one is just a little pin tool that we use for straps that don't have quick release or anything like that. I'll show you how in the back of here as well, there's other tips that you can use. Little push pins and stuff for bracelets that have that stuff, and then another little V pin removal tool on back there. But the one that's on there should work fine already. And then we also come with a screwdriver. This is more for resizing your bracelet for your wrist, because it uses screws instead of pins. And then you'll have a couple extra little, or a couple pins to hold your watch in. These go right in the ends of the end links here like this. Be careful with these because these will shoot across the room if you're not careful. Okay, so that's that. The first thing we need to do when we're putting a bracelet on the watch, of course, is to remove the old strap. Pretty easy. You got quick release pins. So just pull back on that pin and remove the strap. There you go. All right, so we've got this ready. There's a couple ways to do this. Some people like to do it one way, others like to do it another way. There's no real right or wrong answer here, unless you feel like you're being way too rough on the watch. That way is the wrong way. But the ways I'm talking about specifically are, you could either remove these end links from the bracelet first. And it's real easy to do that. There's a screw right there, and you just use your little handy dandy screwdriver and remove the end link from the bracelet first on both ends. And then keep track of which end goes on which side. And then you don't have to be trying to wrangle this bracelet at the same time that you're putting these end links on there. Other people, like myself, like to just, get it on there as quick as possible. So I'm going to show you that way. But if you get frustrated by that, just know you can always take off these end links and just work specifically with those if you want. Okay, so to get to it, one second. Let me talk to you about the end links for just a second. We really wanted to do quick release pins on these end links, but the space in between the case and the lugs is just so small to keep it comfortable and small on your wrist. It's too small to allow for the quick release pins. So you have to use tools to get them on and off there. Unfortunately, the good news is that when it's on there, it is rock solid and it's not gonna catch on your shirt or anything like that and a bracelet fall off randomly during the day. But what I will say is that, you know, there's multiple different kinds of tools you can use. There's the like tweezer type of tools to pinch on either side while you put it in the watch. Or how I like to do it is to just use this tool right here. And I don't usually use it kind of the traditional way of getting one of these edges of the V straight on the pin. I kind of like to do it sideways. You know, watchmakers are probably rolling their eyes at me right now, but you know, this is how I like to do it. I don't go at it like this. I use it sideways, kind of like a screwdriver, but it's more pointy than a screwdriver, and that lets me really kind of get in there and get the pin sorted. So what you want to do when you're first getting it on there is, one, make sure you have it the right way up. And an easy way to tell that you have it on the right way is the clasp, not this part, but the actual clasp part that doesn't come away from the bracelet. This attaches to the top of your watch, okay? So you want to flip over your watch, find 12 o'clock. This is the side that you want to attach this end of the bracelet to. So we'll flip it over, and you can kind of feel, I've got my little pin in here already, and you can kind of feel, this is going to be hard to see on the camera. So I like to get the bracelet out like this, and I've got my pin in there, and I know this is really hard to see. It's hard to do this while looking at the camera. So obviously you want the bracelet to go on there. So what I like to do is get one side in first. I'm going to use my little tool here through the holes to get that one side in where it's supposed to go. And then we can push the other side. And it should snap right in. There we go. I know that was really hard to tell what was happening, but maybe I can zoom in on this after the fact. Once it's in there, you'll feel it in there. So then we take our second side, get your little pin ready, and you're going to do the same thing about getting the one side in first. Doesn't really matter which side, but you want to. All right, so we've got one side of the pin that's pretty much in there, and then you just want to take your tool and push that other side of the pin in, then you wiggle it around until you hear that nice click, which tells you that you've got it in there. All right, the hard part is done. Your bracelet's on there, and now all we need to do is resize it to get it to fit just right on your wrist. Okay, so you've done the hard part. You've got the bracelet on, connected to the watch. So you're past the hard part now. What we need to do now is resize the bracelet to fit just right on your wrist. And we do that first by taking out some of the links. So this one fits pretty good on me right now, but just for example, if I needed it to go a little bit smaller, I would probably be looking at taking 1 or 2 or maybe even more links out of the bracelet. And you'll see on both sides, towards the clasp, there are little pins inside here, and they are actually tiny little screwdrivers. Trying to get this in focus here. These are tiny little screws that you can see. Okay, so we have 5 links here that have screws, and on the other side you'll see the same thing. Those look like just regular pins, so if you flip it over, you'll see that those are screws as well. So generally speaking, you want to take the same amount off of each side. If you're just taking one link out or an odd number of links, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer about which side you take them off. But if you're taking an even number off or a larger number, you want to take off about the same amount on each side. So let's say we're taking out 2 links. I'm going to take one out of here and one out of here. So let's start with this side. I'm going to try and do this close to the camera so that I can show you, but at home you're probably going to want to do this flat on a table. It'd be a lot easier. But you just take your screwdriver and you remove one of these. It doesn't really matter which one. I like to do closer to the end just because. I don't like to do the last one because it's connected to the bracelet or the clasp. But removing one from the second one maybe is a good idea. All right, so you just take your screwdriver, turn counterclockwise, and you'll feel it start to come out. You actually have to unscrew it quite a bit, but it's not hard to do unless you have some Loctite stuff on there, which is a product you can buy for this type of stuff that keeps screws in there kind of indefinitely. Almost got it. Just need a little bit more. Trying to get this where you guys can see it too. This is not how you should really be doing this, but that's all right for the video. Yeah, see, even these little slips I'm having with the screwdriver, I'm not worried about it because this thing has the hardening coating on it. All right, I can feel it has come to its end now. So you can just pull this out. Sometimes you can get it with your fingernail. Okay, once you have it coming out, you can just pull it straight out, and you'll see on the bracelet, it just kind of comes apart. So what you want to do is go to the next link and do the same thing. Just unscrew it. Don't lose that pin that you had. All right, this one is almost out. Okay, there it goes. I should just be able to pull that guy out. There we go. And there's my link that I'm going to take out. Okay, so just set that aside. Come back with your bracelet, attach it where it should go, and then you'll be able to just pick up one of the pins that you pulled out, put it back into the hole. You have to wiggle it around a little bit until it goes all the way in, and then you want to tighten it. Okay, so when you're getting to your last few turns, you want to make sure you tighten it pretty good, because that is something that these kind of bracelets do, is the screws can come unscrewed. It's kind of one of the good things and the bad things is it makes resizing a bracelet pretty easy. But you do have to check every once in a while, make sure that these pins aren't starting to come out. You can just run your finger up and down here, and if it feels smooth, then you're good. Your screws aren't coming out. But if you do feel one starting to come out, you'll want to take your screwdriver and tighten that thing up. Some people will put in Loctite, just a drop of Loctite onto the screw, onto each screw to keep it in there pretty much for good. I mean, you can still unscrew it, but it's much harder. But I like to go and do this to every screw on the bracelet every once in a while, just to make sure. Okay, so I've replaced I've taken out one of the links out of the bracelet, and next you want to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So that's pretty straightforward. Yeah. So next we will look at the micro adjustments and what to do with that. Okay. Okay, so you've taken out any links that you need to take out on both sides. And your watch is just almost there. Maybe it just feels a little bit big or even a little bit small, but not enough to take out an entire link or put one back. There's good news. We can adjust a couple of ways. I'm gonna show you the first one first. These are the micro adjust holes. So it's about a full link's worth. So really you can go down 2 other little sections, and that should give you a pretty good fit. I'll show you how to do that. You're gonna go back to this tool, and you're gonna wanna replace, remember these tips come off, you're gonna wanna replace this one with just the pin pusher. So I'll take this off. These just unscrew right out of here. And we are going to use the little pin pusher. You can use a paper clip. If you want, you can use anything pointy really, but these are good because they have a nice flat end on them that isn't really going to scratch anything. So once you got that guy on, you want to come over here to your watch, and you can see right now it's got this has a pin in it, just like the one that you attach to the watch. So it's kind of springy. Okay, so you just take your little pin tool now, and you see the one which you can see the spring in there, and you just want to go in with your pin pusher tool on one of those and pull it out, and you'll be able to feel it go out. You can just pull it out, and you can actually pull the bracelet all the way apart right there. I've just dropped the pin. Way to go. This will go flying across the room. So, you know, you can play with it and fiddle with it, and sometimes you don't even need to take it out like this. I'm just doing it to show you. But then I like to get one end in first when you're moving it to the next micro adjustment hole. So we'll get one in. Come on, almost there. Again, this camera work while I'm doing this. I told you this is fiddly. Okay, so that one's in there now. And you don't even really need to use a tool for this, because you'll see the pin popping out over here on the side. You can just use your thumbnail, fingernail, whatever, push it in, then wiggle it around till it gets to the right spot. And there you go. So I've moved it one micro adjust position, and we can try that out now. Oh, it fits so good, yay. So that's how you can, it's actually pretty tight on me now, but something you can do, this is the next thing we're gonna talk about, when it's a hot day or something, or sometimes you just need a little extra room. This bracelet has a pretty cool feature. It is a sort of instant half-link pop-out, and I'll show you what that is. So on the inside of this clasp, you can see on this side, this pops out about a half of a link. And I'll show you a few times so you can get the hang of it. So what I'm gonna do is get the bracelet like this and use one finger to kind of push away on the buckle while I'm pulling on the strap. And you can see that kind of just pops out. So all that's doing is giving you an extra little half link. And at any time you want, you can pull that out and you can pop it back in as well. The way to pop it back in is you basically just fold it back on itself like that and push down, and you'll hear it snap. So So there you go. It's pretty easy, instant way to get an extra little half a link of space. You know, if it's a real humid Texas day, our wrists do swell a little bit sometimes, and it's good to have a little extra room. That is one way to do it. And there you have it. You've successfully installed and adjusted your bracelet. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you were able to get your bracelet on there and size correctly to your wrist easily enough. If not, you can always take it to a jeweler or a watch repair person, and they'll be able to get it on there for you and help you resize it if needed. If you need any extra links or anything like that, shoot me a note and we'll work it out. Other than that, thank you very much. Bye.